So, what are the advantages of having ERP? First of all, data is streamlined and smoothened. So, big data is arranged. Okay, disadvantages, huge setups, expensive, expensive to maintain, and if data is data is not synchronized and sequenced, then it's a huge chunk to maintain and it has no use. Okay. So speaking of SAP, of course, we talk about uh, centralized and decentralized sources, data sources. Okay. And what I actually mean is that if you go here, VF02, this is a transaction. Let's say this is a document, this is a billing document from the sales and distribution module, and I want to see. I want to have a look at what exactly is being sold and what is the customer being charged with in a billing document, along with other details. For example, this is the material and quantity is 5, net value is 2,500. Okay. And cost is 500. What we have here is from one module, this is decentralized. If you look at the accounting side, this is the payer, this is the customer, the billing date is 17th of March 2021. And let's have a look at the accounting document. So everything is arranged. Everything is pretty much in place. Okay. So what is the role of ABAP? If we have to look at it, if we have to look at it, oh, 1 minute, 1 minute. Okay, okay. Over here, we have this customer and we have domestic sales, which have been done using profit center accounting and segment reporting. So we are connecting material with the sales, with the accounting data, with the customer, and everything is in place. So this is getting centralized. Decentralized data is getting centralized. So coming to our subject, that is ABAP. What is that? That is basically we will be taking care of the repository, object changes. Object means object like these, object like screens or modules or functions. Okay. For example, if I really want to see that this customer is a filer or a non-filer, tax filer or non-tax filer, I want to see a field over here or a field over here that it will be coming in object changes and enhancements, customer developments. Okay. So ABAP basically has a more interesting role in SAP. It is one of the coolest areas in SAP. Okay. For example, let's go to slash n means new session. SC93 is the transaction. Okay. SC93. Okay. Over here, what I'll do is VF02, the transaction we were looking at. display. And now we are actually looking at from the ABAP perspective. Okay, we are looking at ABAP perspective. And what is that? Screens. Now, these screens are developed in ABAP. And the GUI, of course, it has to be integrated, and that is again done on the platform of ABAP. So we have screens for HTML, Java, and Windows. Okay. If we look at the screen, if I double click it, okay. This is taking some time because the net is quite slow right now. So a standard, because VF02 is a SAP standard transaction, this transaction can be changed by ABAP guys. I mean, that is the power of the ABAP guys. So what we are actually looking at, we are looking at modules. This module is being triggered, okay? And we have modules that will, of course, will actually work with quite a lot of tables over here. If you look at the tables over here, we have fields and then table, fields and table. Okay. These are the modules that are interconnected, and these many modules, module by modules, I mean areas, decentralized areas that are coming together on one transaction. Okay, even if this is not understandable right now, it doesn't matter. I'll just show you the program, and then we'll go and write our first program. Okay, that will be a simple program, nothing rocket science. Okay, so okay, over here we have include programs. Now include programs are logic codes, object oriented codes that will link your various tables into one place, and you will actually create include programs that will be used at multiple places. Okay, so we have many include programs over here, and that are being called over here and triggered over here. This is the enhancement part, which is given by SAP itself. We'll be looking at things like these, how to create transactions and how to create custom made transactions. Okay, so you see that you will notice that there is no logic over, because the logic all is in these include programs. These are simple programs. Now, how to write a program? Let's go to SC38 program ZT67. What is our 67? No, 67. Yes. Yeah, ZT67, 17th March, first program. This is a transaction code SC38, create. Let me, okay, ZT67. ZT67, first program, 17th March, executable. Now, what are these fields basically? Now, these fields basically are giving you the control on, giving you the control for handling this program. Authorization group is used for allowing some users, employees to use this program. Okay. So I will give a code over here, and that will be attached in the user profiles. With how do we use the user profiles? I'll tell you that later. Application, for what module are we making this? For cost accounting, for information warehouse, for asset accounting, for human resources, for material management, and so on. We'll keep that simple. Okay. Logical database name. Now, this logical database is actually used for customizing for modules like HCM because it uses quite a lot of customizations. So logical database actually gives you a sequence and pattern of all the tables in a sequence, and you can use the fields and the tables in this program, and it will be called automatically, and it will be loaded in your buffers, ABAP buffers, okay, in the repository. Okay, ABAP language will be unique code or cloud platform, or we have only two right here, so we'll be using unique code. Okay, this will be executable program or include program or a module or a function. We'll be looking at all of these until classes or interface. Okay, save. Now save over the package. Now what is a package? I'll click local object. Now what a package is basically, a package is just like a carton, a container where your program, your logic, your tables, your include programs, your enhancement, everything is actually put in one place and then packaged to another server, because this is development server. All the logic coding, everything, the dirty work, the legwork is done in your development server. When it is clean, it is tested and approved, it is then packaged and transported to the QA server. Okay. So this is our SA38 where we will be editing and building our program. So every program that we actually write right now, because it's either it could be an include or a module or a function, but right now we are just producing data. We are writing logic for producing data in a report. So report is this that we have already given the title. Data, anything that is in blue is the keyword given and supplied by SAP. Data is the keyword. Anything after data will mean it is a variable. Result is the variable, and V. Why do we add V? Just to show in the logic flow that this thing is a variable type integer, and every SAP syntax ends with a period. Parameters. Now, parameters are input parameters. Blue is the keyword. So it actually shows we have uh, parameters here for user input. Okay. Now, this is the continuation, not the end of the syntax. So we can continue in the next line and then end it over here. So v result, which was the first variable, is going to compute p field input. P means here is parameter. Again, this is a practice, not standard, but a practice. Just to show this field or variable will be a input parameter. It will take user parameters. So it will, v result will then compute the result. Okay, and then output the v result. Okay, the variable. And we can also write without this colon. And what is this slash for? This is for next line. Okay, v result period check. I have to check whether there is anything wrong in my logic or anything is missing. No, then I activate it. Direct processing. P field 133, 100 and execute. And we have 11,300. Okay. Now, coming back to our former discussion. Okay. So I believe this is all okay with you. Yeah.
सर बेसिकली ये एक फंक्शन था बस, तो ये एक फाइल है जिसके अंदर हमने एक फंक्शन लिखा है। तो अगर एक ही फाइल में मल्टीपल फंक्शन नहीं लिख सकते इसके अंदर?
Multiple will, एक minute. Acha ji, what are the types of applications that will be building reports, interfaces, conversions, extensions. We'll be looking at all of these. Okay. So in SAP, there is inbound interface where your legacy database or ERP has to migrate or transfer data and extract the program. And we actually create the extraction file, which is translated by ABAP, and it is loaded by ABAP into the SAP database. That is inbound interface. SAP outbound interface is where SAP uh, uh, gives or extracts data through ABAP, which is translated, and a file is extracted, and it is then externally loaded into external databases. Next role that ABAP does is conversion programs, where your data migration is done for like go live when your SAP has to go into production. So the conversion programs are made by ABAP consultants. Extensions. User exits, as I told you, if you want a custom field or a custom module, and of course that is done by ABAP consultants, and that is called user exits because it exits the standard of SAP and because the customer wants it made. So the user wants an exit from SAP, and that is again built, that module or that function or logic is built by ABAP. Okay. So ABAP basically is responsible for creating new development for new programming logics and blocks. Okay. Add-ons, which again, as I said, for example, weighing machine or machine integration is again achieved by ABAP. Modifications. This is also done by ABAP, okay, which is again not uh, motivated or really suggested by SAP. And modifications, why is not suggested? Because, for example, right now we are working with SAP S/4HANA 1909. If there is a rollout of SAP S/4HANA, let's say 2002, okay, all of the modifications are then cancelled. It is not carried forward or upgraded into 2002 because 1909 is an older version. All the code written over here will have to be rewritten over here. That's why it does not encourage to create modifications. Forms, yes, we'll create forms and reports and input forms will be made, and we will be looking at this area. Okay, so now let's go to and check our SAP. SE11 is where you actually have a look at database table. Database table can be VBRK, VBRK display. This is a table that we'll be looking at. We can also have a look at other areas as well. So what is this table called? Billing document header data. Now, what is a header part? Let me tell you that. VF02 billing document items. Okay, now this part is called the header part, where all the details, top level details like payer, billing date, document number, invoice or returns, repair, pro forma, everything is actually, this is these details at the header do not get modified so often. I mean, this can be modified, this can be deleted, but this is not actually changed or modified so often. Okay, so this is header level details, VBRK. And VBRK, this is the table, billing document header data. And what do we have here in this section is this. Billing type, billing category, SD document category, currency, client. Now, what is a client over here? Client is not your customer, but the server that we're working in, that is this client. Okay. And if you see, if we have certain fields Okay, these are fields, these is table, and this is the field of this table. These are key fields like the primary keys. Okay, and then we have initialized. Initialized means that these fields will not be empty at any time. It has to have initial values every time. Force not null means the system will force that it cannot be null, it cannot be empty. Okay. So now what we'll be actually looking at will be assignments that we'll be building like these. Okay. Rest I'm not actually going into more details right now like this one. We'll discuss it ahead. Okay. We've already given quite a lot of understanding. So this was basically your today's session.